everybody, it's me, Kurt, and welcome to episode 6 of Kurt's Blurts. Can you believe it? Okay, so I went to the edge of the galaxy this week, so that's probably mostly what I'm going to talk about. I only got a 4-hour glimpse of Batu, which is the planet's name that you're visiting. The outpost you're going to has not been, I don't think, in any of the movies, but it feels very familiar. It's at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Oh, spoilers! I'm going to probably tell you things. If you want to wait and have surprises, then don't go on from here, but there's not a lot of surprises. It's just kind of cool. As you go in, it looks like an old Planet of the Apes set, because you go in and it's sort of like an old New York subway. There's like subway tile, and then it turns into gray rock, and then it turns into just like stone, like you're in a cave kind of thing, and they've been excavating. And then when you get through the tunnel, you're in Batu. And it's kind of sparse at the beginning, but I think right as you walk in is where the new ride that's going to open in December will be, because we saw a queue line, but there was nothing there for it. And then there's a couple of t-shirt things, and there was an X-Wing fighter sitting there, which is really cool to see that, like, life size. And then you walk around the corner and you go through, there's like the marketplace, or you can go around the marketplace, there's two different ways you can go through. So let's just pretend you're going to go through the marketplace. So my favorite thing is right as you walk, it's sort of a covered-ish kind of section of stores and shops and stuff. So it's really cool theming-wise. What I loved is the water fountains outside. There's these two big tanks. And the little monster that was in the trash compactor in Star Wars Episode 4 that Luke and Han and Leia get caught in the trash compactor, and that monster comes up and grabs Luke and pulls him under. That's in the water tank above the water fountains, and every once in a while you can wait and water will bubble and you'll see it come up and look around and then go back down. It's really funny. I thought that was a cool touch. There's a lot of little things like that. I'm sure I missed a million of them because I was so overwhelmed. Anyway, so then there's a couple of shops. There's a shop where you can buy like pets, like stuffed animals and stuff, but then they have some that look alive in little cages and cases and stuff in the store, which is fun. They have some that sit on your shoulder. Salacious Crumb, if you know who that is, he was Jabba the Hutt's little puppety thing that lived on him. You can buy little puppets of him that set up on your shoulder, and you can manipulate them with like a little wire or something to make him look around and move and stuff. So that was kind of cute. Then they have places where you can buy like robes and a couple of shirts and stuff like that. And then there's a popcorn place, which I thought was kind of a neat touch, because it had like different colored popcorns and kind of weird colored stuff like that. And then there was a place that the shopping district ends with this place to get like beef and ribs, and it's just a big meat place. And there's like a giant jet engine looking thing hanging from the ceiling, blowing down like fire, and there's a droid that is continually cranking to rotate these giant legs of like alien beast meat, over this fire. So that was kind of a neat thing, but it's a quick service restaurant. And then as you come out of that, you can go off down to the right as you come out of that, and there's a place where you can get your lightsabers. You can go in. You have to pay $200 to do it, and if you pay for it and cancel, they take your money. So you have to do it. I am not that huge of a Star Wars fan enough to pay $200 to get a lightsaber, so I didn't do it. But it's an experience. It's just an experience you go through to piece it all together and do all that stuff and activate your lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. So to like the left of that is a place where you can go and build your own droid. And it's like you can get it's all these different pieces you have to put together, and you can pick the colors, and they're just on a giant conveyor belt and going overhead and all this stuff, and you pick what you want, and once you have all your pieces, you take them up and they help put them all together, and they activate each piece, and then you click it all together, and then you put it in this box and you push a button and it activates it, and it goes through the different levels, and as it's activating, different things happen with your droid, and then finally your droid comes to life and talks and all that stuff, and it's a remote control droid that you buy, and it was like a space Build-A-Bear kind of thing, but it was really cool, and people were loving it. A lot of people were buying those. And then there was a restaurant that we went to that was quick service, but the food was really good. Different kinds of chicken and salads and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details of that, but I had like this chicken salad that had cauliflower and sunflower seeds and something else in it, and the cauliflower had been basted in something, and the chicken had been marinated in something. It was really, really flavorful, really good. Then, of course, the thing that you want to see the most, and that it's sort of, to me, like if you've ever been to the Magic Kingdom, the castle, every time you see the castle, you want to take a picture. And that's exactly how the Millennium Falcon was. Every time you would see the Millennium Falcon, you would want to take a picture in front of it. It was just mesmerizing. It is the Millennium Falcon. you know, and you see it and you're overwhelmed. Like, I've known this thing since I was a kid. You know, I've seen this in movies a million times, and you know it so well. The entrance to the ride, the Smuggler's Run is the name of the ride. You go behind it and through this warehouse, and there's a vehicle that one of the characters rode in one of the movies. And again, I don't know it well enough, so I'm sorry for all you Star Wars nerds out there that are like, it's called a black Kurt. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care, but I still appreciate it for what it is. But there's a big ride vehicle hanging there, and you're in like the workshop and all this kind of stuff. And then as you go into like the gangway to board the Millennium Falcon, you can tell that the floor has changed, so it actually feels like the gangway to go walk to, you know, like it's really neat. It feels like you were in a different area, a different space. And then you walk in and you are on the Millennium Falcon, like it's the hallways and and you walk in and your waiting area to board the ride is where the chess board, or the holo chess, or whatever they call it. I'm sorry, you guys. is. See, we take your picture there, and you can see all these little things, like the little training orb laser thing that Luke fought in episode 4, and his shield and all that kind of stuff, you know, his face shield, and it's all sitting there, and it's just so cool because it looks right. It looks exactly right. And then you go down this hallway and they take you to the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. And there's 6 people that get to ride it at a time. 2 are pilots, 2 are gunmen, and 2 are something else. I didn't do the other thing, so I don't know what they're called. And so I found that the front 2 seats, the pilot seats, that's what we did first. I was so happy to do that, and I tried filming it, but oh gosh, it's so touch sensitive on all the controls, and so it felt real. It looks real. It's great graphics. You know, your pod, it looks exactly right. They got it exactly right. And obviously that pod is in like a bubble screen. Anywhere you look out the windows, you're still seeing the environment around you. You know, you do hyperspace, you go to another planet, and we did it twice, and it had a different ending each time. And one thing that was really cool is that when you come back from your mission and you go through hyperspace back to Batuu, the first time we did it, it was daylight, and so when we came back to Batuu, it was still daylight, and we landed and all that stuff. The second time we did it, it was nighttime, and we came back, it was nighttime at Batuu when we landed, so I thought that was a really cool, neat touch of knowing what time of day it is and all that kind of stuff, but also changing things up so it's different each time you ride it. We found that the gunners, that was the easier one. We rode that the second time, and I'm basically just pushing a button. Things light up, and you're supposed to do all these things, but just I was busier watching, you know, what's going on out the front screen and trying to film things and all that kind of stuff. You guys, we just rode Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon. Look at this, walking through the Millennium Falcon. It was amazing. It was incredible. It was a lot of fun. And we were terrible pilots. I never want to be a pilot again. Okay, bye. I can't wait for the new ride to open in December as well, the newer one, because they're saying it's going to be, you know, just mind-blowing as well. The whole thing about going to Batuu and the Star Wars land is, it is huge. We did not go to Oga's Cantina because we are actually getting to go back next week. So I'll do a part 2 of my critique or my review next week if all goes well. Everything else, it is just so picturesque. I wanted to take tons of pictures the whole time, and it was great, and people were dressed up. One of the thrills for me were right when we got there, 2 stormtroopers came up and one sort of harassed me. I was so thrilled to have this particular stormtrooper come up and be talking to me.
I don't buy it.
I heard there's good antiques here.
I'm watching you.
You too.
Keep it moving.
So that was a lot of fun. There were a couple of times that things were a little more dangerous than we thought they were going to be.
Hi, Zach. Hey, how's it going? Good.
Hold. Squad leader is looking for you. Rendezvous at command base for reassignment.
Yes, sir. But all in all, it was a fun time. We had a blast. I can't wait to go back again. I will tell you more about it when I go back next week. I'll give you another little splice of it next week there, okay? Hey, how about I tell you about the movie I saw this week? Well, hey, Hey everybody, let's talk about the movie I saw this week. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. You guys, please do not come after me because of my critique of this movie. This is one person's opinion, okay? But I was bored to tears. The major positive thing about it was the cinematography. Everything about it to a T was perfection as far as the look of the film. As far as the houses, as far as they were driving around Hollywood, like in cars and convertibles and driving around for like tons of scenes. They were driving around all these streets in Hollywood past major landmarks that you know, and all the cars that passed them were 1960s or older, cars. All the buildings were correct for that era. Then the exact opposite of that was it was like 2.5 hours, if not longer, this movie. Did you see the movie Hail Caesar with George Clooney? I wanted to like that movie and just didn't because I thought it was so incredibly, it was just sort of like a random day in the life of. And that's what this movie sort of felt like. It was like a random couple of days in the lives of. They brought in Sharon Tate, best known for me anyway, for the Charles Manson murders that happened out in California. That storyline is kind of there, but it's all done with sort of this tongue-in-cheek comedy kind of sense. And then at the end, the ending bothered me because they rewrote history and it involves the deaths of innocent people. Like these people were just murdered because they were famous in Hollywood. In real life, that's kind of the thing. In this version, they didn't. I thought, well, I know that Tarantino does that with like Inglourious Basterds, but when it comes to innocent people's deaths, I feel like it's kind of inconsiderate. I thought it was distasteful a little bit. Sorry, usually my stuff is really funny, haha. I think I went to sleep like twice during this movie. It would go off on tangents much like I do, but not in a funny or good way, which is probably exactly what you're thinking. Kurt, yours aren't funny or good either. But hey, on my Kurt's Blurt scale, I'm giving the cinematography a 5. Definitely a 5. 5+ blurts. But the movie itself, I'm giving a 1.5. Because it did have some moments that were good, but then the last 10 minutes turned into this violent gore fest, and you're like, what? So that's my review of the one and only movie I saw this week. What movies have you seen this week? Why don't you tell me in the comments? Tell me what movies you want me to go see, and I'll try to do a horrible review, almost as horrible as this one. Well, I guess that's it. But thank goodness we had the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Planet of Batuu at Disney's Hollywood Studios to talk about. I can't wait for the general public to be able to go because you will love it. I haven't even talked about Voctiv as of right now. Please check out our tour dates, our Christmas 2019 tour of the West Coast. But come back next week because I will have another little review about Oga's Cantina, which everybody says is, the big fun thing to do. And thanks for subscribing. Thank you for liking. I promise I will talk more about Voctiv next week or when I have something a little more interesting to say. But until then, please go get our merchandise and our CDs. I'm going to quit saying CD baby because that is so not right. Just go to Voctiv.com. If you want to go specifically for merchandise, then go to Voctiv.myshopify.com. And otherwise, thank you for subscribing to this and liking this channel. And I hope you guys have a great week. Please make someone smile. Make it your mission. Tell me what joy has been brought to you this week or what joy you have brought to someone else this week. So thanks, you guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
You have failed me for the last time.